topic operationalization of agentic AI in GTM. So how basically we apply this particular agentic AI into our go-to market scenario on that one. So there are the multiple AI agent. Those is the market. Those can help in with respect to go-to market scenario with respect to customer. So let's understand what is artificial intelligence, right? So we do have the multiple definitions of artificial intelligence. Very simply, we can say that computers capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. Means when the system start thinking towards just like a human being, then it is basically we can say that in the artificial intelligence, and that example is kind of the when they start reasoning, problem solving, and learning something on that one. So classical categorization here, like what they can do, they can process the massive data in the scale, they can think logically, and then they can basically operate into 24 into 7. So when basically we leverage this kind of the facility in the AI agent, then basically we get the very good value into scenario. Moving to next slide, basically we need to understand how this AI technology has been evolved and reach to the particular point of agentic AI, where basically we develop the AI agent. So when we talk about the artificial intelligence, it basically started with the rule-based mechanism with if and then some kind of the logic. If for example, suppose I press some button, then I can send the one email, something like that one. So that is basically rule-based logic happened. After that, basically it started cover the machine learning, right? So machine learning basically people started playing the lots of data, or I can say the massive amount of the data. So machine learning is having the three important component, that is data, algorithm, and compute engines, right? By the advent of the cloud, by the advent of the GPU kind of the CPU engine, now the organizations or particular individuals can basically process the massive amount of data and get the result. When we talk about the machine learning, it is having the statistical data, it is having the different validated data, it has the test data, training data, and based on this, basically we can get the result. When we talk about the machine learning, it is having the three types: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning of that one. So again, basically, when we talk about the machine learning, it basically data. Those are playing the vital role because we know that data is having the some kind of the 3V capacity, velocity, variety, and volumes. So always consider when we have the data which is having the this kind of the attributes can come inside the machine learning and can add the value addition in here. After the machine learning, there is another technology, another concept which is called the deep learning. And here, deep learning is basically a subset of the machine learning. Okay, and basically it helps so resolve the more complex challenges with respect to the machine learning. Machine learning think as a data, and then when the deep learning, it is think about the human. Every human is having the something called which is neuron, and we have the multiple neuron, and those are able basically take the decision. Same concept has been applied in the deep learning, and which basically known as the neural network in here. Okay, so always remember deep learning is subset of the machine learning, and machine learning is subset of the artificial intelligence. Now come to the generative AI. Most of the people nowadays aware about the GPT, Google Gemini, and all these things. So what happened? We basically fire the some prompt, and the existing LLM can basically generate the some kind of the image, some kind of the content, some kind of the videos. Okay, so that basically nothing but it is called the generative AI. Later on, generative AI, then it is come to the agentic AI, right? So what happened? Generative AI is not a smart terminal. Basically, in that case, we need to give the some kind of the prompt, and based on this, it basically work. But in case of the agentic AI, this is the autonomous engine which can think, which can decide, and which can act. And later on, depend upon the feedback, it can basically change the whole the logic and act on the particular objective. Suppose I have the goal to meet the customer, like in this case of the GTMs, right? We do have the what three objective is there: identify the generation, lead, and then convert to customer, and then sustain and development manage the customers. So when agentic AI is there, so based on the different all these three steps, we can automate everything which is not feasible in the generative AI. So now, in the simple terms, nowadays we can say that it is AI agent. Mostly, if you say that AI agent, it is having the three important components. First is engine, second is memory, third is the tools, right? So I'm basically doing the hands-on on this kind of the tools nowadays, which basically can help the build the AI agent, and that tool are kind of name is, for example, is Make and Zapier, and most promisingly, it basically now Anatan. Okay, so when basically we create the some kind of the AI agent inside the Anatan, it is having the three key component. One is the engine, that is the chat engine, which is nothing but your chat GPT and all this engine. Later on, this is memory. To memorize the content, we need some kind of the memory to be there. And third is tool. So we can basically add the multiple tools with respect to that AI agent. This might be CRM tool, this might be email tool, this might be any kind of the storage tool, vice versa. So we can add that tools, multiple tools at a time with that AI agent to basically complete this cycle, which is basically help towards the GTM strategy. Now, I hope this clear this evolution AI technology on that one. We started with the rule base, moved to the machine learning, then the deep learning, then is generative AI. Now the new is basically agentic AI. Okay. When we talk about the generative AI, generally when we talk about the content, this content is basically static in the natures, right? So when we talk about generative AI, this content can be the dynamic in the natures, right? See, suppose I have the 1,000 customer where I need to drop a some mail. What happened in here in the GTM cycle, right? Go to market cycle. In the first step, I did basically I have generate the leads, and once we generate the leads, I need to drop the mail to this 1000 or 500 identify customer talking about the my product. Okay, my product is doing this, that. So what is one main very simple criteria? I need to basically write a one generic mail, okay, and then copy paste, changing the customer name and other thing, and then drop the mail according to everyone, right? So but what happened in this case, basically we do not achieve some kind of the personalization touch in here, right? So that we are discussing in here, generative AI. So generative AI creates new content by predicting and generating the most likely next word or piece of data. Depend upon the customer behavior, depend upon the customer attribute, it can basically align the email. Okay. So now it basically personalized outbound mails, sales script. It can generate the ready-made sales message and all, and high converted ad and creatives. Right? You want to do your ad in Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, so that basically can be customized and post according to different platforms. Now the paradigm shift from tools to agents. Earlier we had tool, now we have the agent. So what happened suddenly? Earlier we were doing in, or still we are doing in the manual work, right? But after the invent of evolve of this agent, right? This work to be done in the autonomously or automatically. So now, in case of earlier what software that wait a user to click button, passive responsive data. So I do have some Salesforce or HubSpot, some kind of the CRM tool with me. So I need to click something OK or something button to take the next course of action. But in case AI agent, I don't have to do it, something like that, or no, anyone cannot, don't have to work on this OK button and all this thing. This decision by automatically will take by the AI agent, thus basically solve a lots of time in here. Now, so we discussed something about the agentic AI, artificial intelligence. Hope this gave us some clarity. The next basically section we move towards the GTMs, okay, which is nothing but the go to market, right? So when basically we discuss, so I every time I'm basically repeating that. So first is basically lead generation. Second is basically customer identification or conversion. And third is basically sustainable or retention as well as the expansion of the existing customers. Okay. So when we talk about the lead generation, it is nothing but part of the marketing. Okay. When basically come we talk about the conversion, so that basically come under the sales. And now later on, basically we move to retention and expansion, that it will be basically customer success. So when we talk about the customer GTM, this go to market, it involves the marketing, it involves the sales, it involves as well as the customer success aspect in here. Okay. So what are the GTM challenge in today? When we say that GTM challenge is today means we are referring to the manual works. So we are doing this activity, GTM activity, which comprises marketing, sales, as well as the customer success activity, which is done in the manually. So what is the problem, right? So it basically siloed technologies means we do have the lots of software, CRM software, email software, databases, storage sector. So everyone is working in individual manners. They are not integrated, right? Number one. Number two, the manual work. Most of this work, basically, we need the human resource to perform this activity by the meaning of the manual. Okay. And what happened when you have the manual activity, when we have the not integrated and collaborated technology? So what happened? We will the conversion to identification of the lead and conversion of the customer is very less, or we get the very pure deal for my business. So now that challenges when we put the agentic AI into the my GTM, I mean to automations of my go-to-market scenario using the some kind of the AI agent. So it automatically increase my performance. It automatically increase my values and everything on that one. So what happened when we say that we do have the some kind of manual GTM? So basically, revenue leakage is around 45%. Okay, and second is basically time. Okay, we need to basically waste the 70% of time, as well the customer satisfaction is declined by the 30%. Here we use the one word HDR, which is nothing but sales development representatives. Okay, so we do have, in case of the manual GTM aspect in here, that basically 45% we can have the revenue linkage. The data, historical data, it say that it can basically um waste my 70% of time, and then basically customer satisfaction can be deepened by the 30%, and which basically we can improve by putting the agentic AI or AI agent into G2M scenario. Let's so now we discuss about the GTM. Let's discuss some more detail about the agentic AI. So what is agentic AI? We already discussed, right? So agentic AI or AI agent is basically a intelligent terminal or is a computer or a system that can think, plan, or take action on its own to achieve a goal. I do have the some goals. Okay, I need to write the thousand or mail to my customers. So this guy can basically think, plan, and write the autonomous mail to or personalized email to mail to every customer. Okay. So, what are the key properties of this agentic AI? Is basically outcome oriented. It's totally focused on what is my goal in here. And secondly, is tool. So, when I talk about the agent AI, previously I talked about the N10, it is having the different kind of the component which is there is any tools, right? So, they are the multiple tools, those are associated with this agentic AI inside the tools component, okay, and these tools each can talk each others. right? So now the one key challenge is when with respect to the manual CRM, we were talking about that one because there was a challenges with the consolidation. They are not basically talking with each others, right? So now other important thing basically how they will talk each others, right? Yes, I have the multiple tools available with the my agent AI. So how they will talk for that purpose? Now in the modern technology we have APIs, right, which is basically known as the application program interface. Most of the people are known as I need the this API for my OpenAI, for this my OpenHeygen, for my other tools, Epify and all these things. Suppose I want to connect, so I need to pay something. I need to generate the API somewhere. Some of the people are generous, right? Like OpenAI is basically cost very minus 0.01 cent for each transaction, but definitely money is involved. So we need to identify, we need to generate this API for that particular software or sell. I mean to say the tools so that they can link each other someday, right? Now, third key point is here self-correcting. So it basically we do have some kind of the feedback loop, right? So based on the scenario, it can take its decision by own, which basically help to improvise the scenario. So what are the key capabilities? So now we understand what is the AI agent in here when we where we have the multiple tools, where we have the base focus on its goals, and now it is basically self-reliant, self-dependent. We don't need any kind of the manual interface. It can basically take the decision by its own. So what is the advantage? What are the when we basically have this kind of the GTM engine? The smart decision. Okay, choose the best lead automatically. With what reference? With the GTM reference, right? This when we talk about the go-to-market scenario, it choose the best leads automatically. Work across tools. So it basically, we talk about that one. It can talk multiple tools by the help of the API. Okay, and context memory. What is very important, chat GPT and all, when you are basically managing the generative AI, right? One key challenge, what happens, suppose we get out from the one particular session, the next session we were basically facing the challenge. We do not remember the what happened last time. Every time we need from the scratch. Okay, that is the one key challenge, and that is basically overcome in the AI agent. So we have some kind of the memory, and then basically what I sold AI agent three main component. One is the chat model, second is the memory, and third is the tools. Okay, when we have the memory, you can go and select the different simple memory or some kind of the advanced memory to basically manage that one. So what is advantage is here? We do have some kind of historical reference, whatever has happened in the past, that is already in the memory. So we can basically easily take the that reference into my the future decision. Now let's we discuss about the traditional AI, right? And we discuss let's discuss about the traditional AI, which is having the machine learning, deep learning, generative AI versus the agentic AI, right? So what is the future with respect to the executions, right? So as I told, in case of the generative AI and all traditional AI, what happened? We need to wait. Suppose I have the HubSpot is kind of the one my CRM, and I need to basically drop a one mail, okay, by the help of the my HubSpot or might be some other tool, Salesforce like that one. So I need to press the click button. Once I press the click button, it auto send the mail, right? So it wait for the input. It cannot basically drop the message by its own. But in case of the agentic AI, this manual intervention is not needed. That is the one advantage. Second, right, scope. Now one task at a time. Think about the chat GPT, right? So we do have the one LLM engine, okay, behind when we basically write the one prompt, right? So it basically do the one task at a times. But in case of this agentic AI, as I told, they are the multiple tools, right? So these multiple tools, they are the multiple workflow, right? I'll explain later on the one of the my real-time workflow, which basically give the clarity of these steps. So having said that, parallelly we can run the multiple steps in here. Okay. Now tool use, so limited tool, explain use multiple apps or tools. Still remember, we need to basically connect with each other tool by using the API methods on that one. And what happened in case of the generative AI, we can manage only the simple logic, but in case of agentic AI, he can think and improve by his own step by step accordingly. So what happened? Suppose I have some generative AI and now I have the some agentic AI. So which basically when we check that one with respect to the manual speed, manual work you done by the my generative AI with reference to the automatic agentic AI, what happened? Speed in case of the generative, in case of the GTM market, right? The speed to lead is everything agent. Ensure 1 minute response time for inbound inquiries, night or days. I think it is the big word. Mostly what happened, somewhere I basically receive the mail. I am busy, right? I wait for some 7 or 8 hours. Whenever I have the time, I can respond manually according. So that might be a key challenge in here, right? Because I am not responding the customer immediately. He basically shouting the some help. Now I am kind of the one bank, right? I do find some kind of the challenge in the bank yesterday, and basically I dropped the mail and I was keep waiting for 6 or 7 hours. What happened in this case? This is customer dissatisfactions, right? So now the in case of this one agentic AI, basically talking about the speed to identification of lead generation of the customers increased by the 10 times as compared to the manual scenario on that. Okay, so you basically personalize the content, your message tailored to each customer. I explain we do have the 100 200 customer. Okay, each customer basically having the tailored message, right? One customer might be from the India, one customer might be from the US, so might be Bangalore. So we basically whenever we basically talking to customer, if we add the some kind of the personalized touch, so definitely the chance of the conversation is very high. Okay, so always believe in the personalization when we're dealing with the customers. Secondly, when we basically talk agentic AI, so definitely there is a no manual work. Okay, it remove the repetitive task in here, and when basically we have this kind of this scenario, we can take the smarter actions. So again, when we move from the Gen AI to agentic AI, the speed is coming around the 10x as per the expert judgment. Now let's move to the different architecture of different component which is come inside the agentic AI, right? So when we talking about the agentic AI architecture, it is having the layered approach. Started with the data layer, second the decision layer, and third is the executions layer, and fourth and final one is the feedback layer. So data, we discussed data is any artificial intelligence with respect to agentic, generative, machine, deep learning, whatever is that. Your data is very important. If you don't have the proper data, whatever the good AI system environmental, you will not get the good result. In case of the GTM, what is the very important? We need to generate the leads. Okay, so there might be challenge in here whether where we will not get the proper lead in here, right? So from where this data layer is coming, it is coming from the different CRM, might for example Salesforce and HubSpot and everything. It might be come from the different website, it might be come from the manual way by the email or other things, right? Okay, so that are the simply a data layer. So now the second is the decisions layer. Decisions layer is very important in here, where basically we take the decision about this data, what we need to achieve, what kind of the planning we are meeting, what kind of the goal we need to achieve. So this decision layer is nothing but brain of this agentic AI, where we basically decide and plan what we need to achieve and what we need to do in the future in here. The final, no, not final, this is third layer, that is the execution layer. It is nothing but is perform all the activities, which basically nothing but send the mail, they update their CRM, okay, and then basically gather the feedback. When we talk about the gather the feedback, that is the my fourth layer, which is nothing but my feedback layers. Or it basically kind of the self decision, self healing scenario in here. Okay, depend on the feedback, your agentic AI can basically take action accordingly. So now again, when we talk about the agentic AI, it is having the four layer, started with data layer, second the decision layer, third is the execution layer, and final is the feedback layer. So feedback layer is nothing but it gather the different requests and send to the other layers to take the decision based on the feedback. Let's move to the next slides. I hope this is give the clarity about the agentic AI architecture with reference to different layers. Now let's talk about the we talk about the different layers. So let's understand more in these different layers. The first layer, which we are talking about, the data layer, right? So agents are only as smart as the data they consume. The layer aggregate internal and external signals. Okay, signals means taking the input. Okay, so we do have the different CRM, custom relationship managed from where we take the data like Salesforce and Hubspot. The secondly, basically, we basically aggregate this data, some kind of the data warehousing environment, which is kind of the Snowflake, right? This schema, and then we do have the sub web intent signals which come from the G2 and LinkedIn's kind of environment. So data can come from the your CRM, your data warehouse, and your different web intent signals is here. So this is kind of the data layers. Now next layer is the decisions layer. So decision layer basically where we take the our decisions or plan, we manage on that one, right? So when basically we talk about discuss, decision layers, it's having the different components like planning brain, logic chains, and the context memory. When this planning brain is there, is basically LLMs, right? Analyze content goals and input to decision what the agent should do next. So this LLM is this large language model with the GPT-4o, Mini, whatever the cloud, whatever is that. Based on that, they will decide the next base action in here. Okay. Now the logic and everything is managed in by the logic chain component. We basically we do have the different kind of rules, we do have the different kind of workflows and different constraint, right? Which basically based on the some kind of the policy and compliance, right? So that will be managed by the my logic chain that ensure controlled and compliant decision making. Okay. And finally, we discuss about the context memory. Database and memory systems store historical interactions, enabling continuous across sessions in here, right? So when we have the my history data, definitely the present decision, if it is based on this previous, definitely help. Scenario, take a one example in the medical scenario, right? One person is having the some kind of the challenges, right? So if the doctor is already treated this kind of the challenge, right? So he can immediately reach the particular challenges and problems by identifying the symptoms of the current patient. So if we have the history, so where we need to store it, we need to some kind of the have the memory environment or context memory where we can store it. Now, third is my execution layer. So we discuss about the my data layer, and second is my decisions layer, which is basically based on the my rules, regulation, compliance, next course actions, and memory. And third is basically once we complete all these scenarios, ultimately we complete the our task with respect to the GTM go-to-market scenario on that one. So like we can send using this, we can send the email, okay. Slack alerts, everyone is aware about that one. We do have the some kinds of chat-based systems where we can receive the alerts. We can send the Slack alerts to the one of the my customer to other people, whatever where I need to do that one. Okay. And now this execution, that observations, right? I do have the some mail which I received, right? So they basically we check that one when we need to send the mail on this, right? And secondly, we do have the feedback scenario once we receive the feedback, right? So when we can optimize the overall update logic and then say utilize that one into next run to improve the my overall workflow in here. So I hope we got the some kind of the clarity or got the clarity about the GTM agentic AI. Okay, so we were talking about the subject basically is uh, using the agentic AI or AI agent into GTM market scenario. When we talk about the GTM, it's very simple. We basically identify the lead, convert into customers, and then third step basically sustain and manage and expand the customer on that one. Agentic AI is simply a AI agent, which is nothing but a intelligent terminal can take his decision by his own as compared to the previous predecessors. Now let's move. I think now everyone is aware about that one. Everyone is clear about that. What the subject is here, what we are
Yes.
discussing here. Now we need to discuss about what is the use cases. Okay, and when I discuss about the use cases, these use cases is totally uh, related to the GTM, right? I go to my customer, right? So, what kind of the use cases which I can use in the go-to-market scenario in here, right? So now, first is I was talking the generate leads, right? Okay. So it is what first is scores and prioritize list automatically. Okay, lead qualifications agent in here. That is the one which basically nothing but to generate help in the generation of lead. Okay, first point. Second, outbound sales agent is basically send personalized outreach at skills. I identify the customer. Okay, I didn't generate the my lead. I basically find the my customer, something like that one, my potential prospect. So I need to drop the mail, right? Okay, this is where basically one agent we can build named by the outbound sales agent. Third, content and campaign management. Okay. So now I have the one company, right? And basically I need to say that, okay, my company is doing the workflow automation. My company is making the all the AI agent. So what I need to basically do, I need to generate the multiple ads, post, and lead landing this one. So which this we can do by using this AI agent. I can post in the LinkedIn, I can post in the Instagram, I can post it in the other Facebook and others. I'm doing this lots by using the NET and all right in my day-to-day scenario. And I have the, some kind of the AI agent which I'm doing by using this one, right? And third, customer success agent, right? So what is here? It is very important. I have the customer, right? And that customer, I need to sustain it. Okay, but what happened in the I had some running customer, and he is might be not happy with some kind of the my support, or might be looking some other aspect, might be looking some other kind of support. So basically, I need some kind of the atmosphere by looking to the my data so that okay, this customer is in trouble, or this customer might be not happy. He's looking for this kind of the support from you. So immediately you need to enable and go and support. So that definitely help to maintain or manage the customer. Because what happened, this step is basically kind of the proactive as compared to the reactive in natures. This is the one tools, guys, which I want to show that it is basically built by myself. Okay, actually, we talk lots of about the theory part. Sometimes people will talk about okay, well, how basically we do that one, right? So that additionally, basically, I'm using that one. It is nothing. How basically we are posting some kind of the lead generation or some kind of the content into the my LinkedIn posting here, okay, which is very easy at the every 9 o'clock in the morning. Overall, this is known as the agent, right? This is the one agent, right? Which is nothing but I can say that okay, there's a content and campaign agent, okay, and the tool which I use is basically N. So there are the different tools for reference. I can say that they are the tool named by the Make, they are the tool they named by the Zapier, and the latest which is very prominent as of now, and I found it is quite easy as compared to using and having the multiple node in that environment. When we say the multiple node, you can say that that is the multiple uh, tools are available to integrate with to doing the workflow automation in here. Okay, so let's understand this workflow. This is very one schedule trigger. This is one trigger is there. So that is the workflow. One node is there, and exactly 9 o'clock that node is triggered. I don't have to do anything. I can simply sleep in that one. But when it is running in the cloud, so automatically this 9 o'clock this trigger will work, and then it basically I have the some around 100 200 topics in here in the one of the my Google Sheet, so which basically go and take the one topic, and this is the AI agent. I'm keep referring this one for this understanding purpose theory. I speak lots in here, right? The AI agent, right? When we talk about the agentic AI, there's three key component is here. One is the my chat model, second is the memory, third is the tools. Okay, so here I am basically using the chat model, the grok chat model. Yeah, the different model is there. We do have the Open AI, we do have the Google Gemini in the grok. I'm using the grok chat model because it is free. Okay, so now coming to this point, right, we can add the simple memory if you want. I want to take the historical, but I don't need this here in the historical. So I'm not attach any kind of the activity or agent in here, the memory. Third is tools, right? So based on the some of the my workflow or agent, I use the different tools when I need it, but here I don't need, so I don't basically put here. Now, next to the node in this workflow automations, when I need the image, so then I go to this Hagen or some other environment, or might be ChatGPT. Here, basically, I'm opening the Open AI image in here simply and write the one prompt simply inside of that one, which basically what happened, okay, generate the one image based on the topic which is coming from in here Google Sheet. Okay, so then once you basically generate that image and the content come from here AI agent. So now understand, I want to generate the image, I want to generate the content based on the topic which is here and post it the LinkedIn. Is it clear, everyone? Right? So here is the LinkedIn. So based on the my switch tools or if or not tools, I basically tell the okay to generate this content and with message with picture, paste it in here this LinkedIn, or if I don't need that image, paste it in here with the LinkedIn. So what happened in here? Surprisingly, I don't need to do anything, right? Every day 9 o'clock, right? I need to it automatically fire, it automatically trigger, right? So when we basically talk about that, it can be automatically environment. It's having the three component: trigger, transformation, and action. Okay, trigger is basically a particular time it work. Transformation, it basically create the content, it basically create the image, and action, it post into the my environment, right? Now come to the GTM, same kind of the concept we can apply. Okay, from one environment I generate the lead. Once I generate the lead, basically I can identify the customer based on the requirement on them, and then basically we can sustain us. So if I build that kind of the workflow, that kind of the AI agent, so you think what best you can do, putting the 30, 40 people doing the telecalling, manual calling, doing the cleaning, cleansing, data warehousing, multiple things you are doing, no need to do anything, man. Leave it, let him. You need to give some cost for the manual subscription of this kind of the tool, whether it's the N10, whether it is the Zapier, whether it is there's some other tools. I mean to say that other tools are also there. So what is very important in here, you need to basically kind of the one person who can develop, okay, one time cost, you need to pay for that one and you can enjoy. Okay. I hope this basically gives the clarity. By default, I don't want to put, but I just want to put it deliberately because it gives a lots of clarity in here to everyone. Okay.
I think so. It's a very simple way to understand all these things.
Yeah, we talk lots about the GTM, agentic AI, and all this thing, right? But I basically earlier I'm dirty my hand to doing this all this thing for N10 and all this thing. So if I put that one, it automatically gives a clear. Think about what I was thinking. Someone go and if you have some smart guy or some professional, you hire them some company, and if you build this kind of this situation in here, right? My company who is doing some kind of the lead generation and all this thing, So everything automated, right? I don't have to bother about the write the mail. I don't have to bother about to talk to someone else and all these things. And such thing tools are working, coming. I myself is developed the multiple tool, this kind of the things. One basically I basically display. So every day I have the basically 100 topics is there. So again, next 100 day every day it takes the one topic, create the image and it basically automatically doing that one. And next advancement, I did basically using the some other tool by the name of the agent, it automatically create the videos. Okay, think about that
Yes.
situation. That is the advertisement. I need to do the advertisement of my company. Okay, so what happened? Okay, this topic. Okay, first day I want to advertise this 100 topics. Yeah, 10 or 20 topics. I write it there. Automatically, it create the automate engine on that one, and basically post into your LinkedIn, Facebook, and wherever you want to post it. So you can think that how much time you can save and how much time basically you can uh, efficiency, customer satisfaction, and all. Immediately, someone find it's basically lucrative. He will basically send a mail, hey man, I want to know about this one. Please help me about your product on that one, right? So you have already one agent is sitting in there. Okay, this is the my tool. This is the my tool. This is the time my tool. This is the pricing. Whether you are interested, okay, I will basically add my customer representative. He told yes, I'm interested. Immediately, it will basically connect with your some people, right, or your marketing people, and he call deal done. If everything is fine, deal done. But for this, think about you will take the some 20, 30 days to doing that one. But here it is immediately happen. Not in the one particular location, globally it can happen. Okay. Okay, let's move to next slides. We have. Uh, so cells another one example, right? The workflow, this autonomous SDR, which is nothing but sales development representative, right? When we do have the manual, when we perform the manual my sales workflow, so first what happened, we need to find potential customer lead generation manually, we need to find, reach out to them by sending the mail, then qualifies the lead and book meeting with the sales team. So these are the my menu when we talk about the sales workflow and with respect to the sales development representative. This is the manual work. But when it comes to my agentic AI, when I do the AI agent, so it can basically do the lead discovery, personalized outreach, conversation handling, lead qualification, meeting, follow, everything it can do by automations, right? So that help lot saving of time, what I discussed earlier on that one. Scalable personalization. Another one important here, I basically gave some ideas about that one. This is the scalable personalization. I do have the 20 customers. So what we do generally in normal practice, right? I have the one product, right? I write the one mail, okay? And next 10 mail, I basically do the some kind of the chain subject line or name of the customer and send it accordingly on that one, right? But in here, in this scenario, what happened? I do have the some kind of the feedback loop in here. Based on this, I told one customer he is having the running his business in sales. Other customer related to the marketing. Other customer related to something data warehousing, something else. So it basically align as per the customer requirement and pitch my product to best match with his requirement. Okay. So dynamic ad creative generate millions of ad, so it can create the millions. What I told about LinkedIn, Facebook, explained earlier on that one, right? Social monitoring, okay, responding social monitoring. When we say that someone, suppose I have basically this, I created this my video, I created my content, I created my GTM product, okay, in LinkedIn, one post I created, right? And immediately some customer write and write it the reply to my post, I'm interested on that one, right? So I do have the some kind of agent, immediately go and check with the customer, take the information of this customer, email ID and everything, and drop the message. So immediately, basically that help to me the conversion, okay? Self optimization funnels, visitor behavior and all these things. Now, basically, we talk about in here marketing. We talk about the sales, right? We do have basically identify the three key component, right? Sales. Second is the marketing, and third is basically what my customer success, right? when we talk about the sales, it basically generate the lead, uh, and when we talk about the marketing, it's basically kind of the conversation and scale. And the final one is basically when sustain and manage. What happened in this case? I do have to manage the customer. So we need to understand what is going on, what proactive measure I need to ensure that whether everything is running fine or not. But apart from that one, that is another important thing is there. We need to pitch in. Suppose my customer is using my five product, I had to have another 5 or 10 products. I need to pitch another 4 and 5 products so that I can utilize my existing customers and improve the my or increase the my revenue. Sales flow, we discuss about that one. So it basically nothing but legacy model, how it will work, uh, which basically we already discussed. First, it basically when we talk do the manual work, it lists the building, it basically do the research, drafting, updating, and the result. So only most of the time it's talking about that when we is getting the 2% reply in here. But when we basically implement some AI agent to do all these activities, so when it is having the different workflow node known by the trigger, auto research, auto draft, auto sync, and result. So it is improved by the 15% as compared to the 2% of minimum. And I think it is the one big number in here. Now we discuss about what the workflow and real-time scenario in here. Okay, so now we need to understand what are the different component. Now I am collaborating both GTM or agentic AI, right? So what should be the different component? Is basically having the data layers and AI model, that automations, and then agentic framework, right? So whenever we do have the some kind of the environment, it should have some kind of the frame. Based on this framework, I basically hold the my environment is working. So last one, the agentic framework is there, which might be LangChain, Creo, Auto GPT, and which nothing but this the orchestration engine here, right? Now, data layer. So from where data we are collecting, right? As explained, my CRM data is there. My different AI tool is there. My audit Apollo is there. Six Sense is there. Epify. I think this Epify is nowadays kind of the tool. Those basically scrape the data from the available systems like LinkedIn, Facebook, and it basically extract or scratch the data from this environment in here. Okay, suppose I for a simple thinking, I need to search my prospect customer. Those are based out from the New York. Okay, and who is the CEO of some marketing company. Okay, so I need to basically go to the Epify, give the one kind of the prompt in here, mentioning that location, customer attribute, CEO or founder, and find out the marketing. And those are having the some kind of the above $5 million market scenario in here. So it will go and might be I need the 20 and 30 customer here. So by using this Epify, I can find this data. Okay. So data layer is very important. I'm keep repeating again. My Epify did all the work. But what happened if it does not have a contact number or email address? Okay, so that is basically kind of the bad data. It will not work towards my lead generation. Okay, so ensure that suppose we are extracting the 100, so might be 10 or 20 does not have this kind of my phone number or email ID, so that 80% data is valid and 20% data is the bad data in here. Once we have this data, then basically we need to go through this LLM model, something which is OpenAI Cloud and Anthropic on that one, right? And third, basically, as I explained here, right, previously on that one, we need some automation tools, which basically nothing but to do the workflow, right? So in the one previous example, I saw that one, right? Let me go back. This one, right? This is the automation tool, and this is basically built in the tool named by the N8M. Okay, so I'm keep repeating. We do have some other tool named by the JPR and other things. Japier and N8N make the example, the real-time situation I showed is basically made in the N8N here. Okay. Now, so we discuss. Now we understand different component. Okay. Now we understand what is the agentic AI. Now we understand what the GTM. Then basically we talk about how basically this component talking to each others. Then we know that what are the different component on that one. Now it come to the what should be the roadmap. Okay, so first we need to define the goals when we're trying to implement agentic AI for GTM. So first you define what is your goals. You want to generate the leads, you want to generate the revenue, you want to retention of your customers. Okay, so you need to have the proper KPI in here in the place. Okay, matrices KPI in that what you want to achieve, which is come in the my first define goal. Secondly, identity workflow. What kind of the workflow I need to generate? Either write the scratch. I told him one, this is the step two, step three, step four, right? Nothing, what kind of the node will come. Okay. So everything you need to basically define. Okay, this is the step, this is the step. I need to identify this kind of the workflows will be there. Once we do this one, right, we finally need to build the our AI agent. Okay. Okay, once we basically build this AI agent, right? This is the another part. When we are adding this your Salesforce or your HubSpot and different kind of the CRM agent. And once we basically do this, integrate with this all this tool, what is very important, right? Later on feedback. I'm keep telling you, you have done it by your own understanding, right? But customer is expecting something different. Okay, the feedback is very important. Okay, always you remember the Deming cycle, right? Which is basically having the plan, do, check, or act, right? You basically plan something, you doing something, you check that one. Okay. Oh, this guy is looking for this one. Accordingly, you need to basically improve the your workflow. You need to change the your workflow so that you can meet the customer. You should understand the pulse of the customer. That is very fine. Sometimes if you are going as per your understanding, you do not understand the pain of the customer. Remember, you are going to lose these customers very soon. Okay. So there is basically, guys, some challenges. Okay, with respect to this one, when we implementing AI agent in the GTM with data quality, I'm keep raising is not good, so it will not get the good result. Okay. Second is governance. If we don't have the governance, okay, so then we should have the some kind of the framework. It is not like that on the fly. Okay, I go and I develop one company. I found that one very interesting story, right? So they go and they develop this kind of the 100, 200 agent man. Okay, and they forgot. But what happened in this case? They are the API, right? They are the multiple software tools are there. They are talking to each other. API. In the next month, it came the huge bills. Okay, they basically bother about this. So we need to very serious and concerned about these factors. And what is very important, you need to trust your AI. Okay. The future trends, AI agent replacing traditional SDR role. SDR, I think, talk about that one. Sales, development, representative, those are do the manual work. So when we do have this kind of the agent, so definitely they will do this role, right? Fully automatic marketing funnels, hyper personalizing at skills. You are writing the one mail which is having the same kind of the body. So in this case, if you use this kind of the agent, this can be the hyper personalization in here, right? And it is basically predictive and self-optimizing. So having said that, when we talk about the hyper personalization and this in 2026, 90% of outbound will be agent lead. Think about that. By the end of 2026, people are telling, yeah, research is saying that 90% of them is converting to this. Okay, guys. So now, finally, I put the two case studies. Okay, with reference to the manual and implementation of AI agent in G2M. Go-to-market scenario on that one. Okay, so what are the challenges? 60% lead not contact within 24 hours. Only 2% email open rate. What do you mean by 2% email open rate? Means you are receiving the email, but out of this, only 2% you are able to open. Sales representative spending 60% time of admin. Instead, the key type of this guy is to doing the sales, but instead of that one, 60% time he's doing the admin job. Okay, so these are the challenge when you basically doing the manual work in the scenario of this company like B2B sales company before. And then after the agentic AI implementation, AI after we basically put the AI agent. So what happened? The response time earlier, which was basically 24 hours, I received the one mail, okay, and I need to wait for 24 hours. It is basically completed 2 hours. Email open rate less than come from the 18% and conversion of the customer come from the 19%, okay, and sales representative and 40% reduction is customer acquisition cost in here. Same advantage basically improve in the e-commerce sales response time increased by the 24 hours to 2 minutes, 60% cost reduction to doing the day-to-day operational work, and 35% customer satisfaction improvement, right? So guys, these are the something N8N agent, something like that one. So I hope I think I'm good. I hope most of the point clear and it gives us some kind of the clarity with respect to the AI usage of AI agent in the GTM market. So thank you very much. With me, he can contact with us at datascientist.com.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. It's a wonderful session. It's a huge information inside the session. So we are really thankful to you that you have taken the session and you have just give us too much knowledge about the AI for the
Yeah, yeah,
GTM.
1 minute. Sorry
So
to interrupt you,
yeah,
Anil. There is a
yeah,
one question from the Aniska.
yeah,
In
yeah,
your
yeah.
opinion, will agentic
I'm just
AI
coming
replace?
to Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just coming to the comments also, and questions we are taking one by one from the comment section. So
Okay.
there's a one comment from Latisha that is agentic AI more useful for marketing or sales, especially for early stage startups?
It is basically useful for both of them, right? Because it is having a different process of it is depend upon the human how smartly they can use. If you have the very smart marketing guy who can utilize it, if you have the very good sales guy, you can utilize that one. So we cannot bifurcate which one is very useful, but definitely it's useful for both of them.
Yes. And the next question is from Samiksha said that is what metrics should founders track to evaluate whether agentic AI is actually improving their GTM performance?
Go to the last basically slide. I can say that right, the customer satisfaction metrics, how much
Yes.
basically mail you are receiving. So you define your KPI. What basically challenges you have. If you go to the next two slides, right, previous slides, which already describe that one, the conversion rate,
Yes.
response rate, and everything is there. Basically, we can do this.
I think you already elaborate in all these points, I think. And the
Yeah.
next question is how can an early stage startup with a limited data starts implementing agentic AI in GTM efficiency
Yeah,
effectively? Sorry.
yeah, it's very good question. So I really appreciate that one, right? What we are talking about, the startup is there, right? So I'm keep using the one word, which basically framework, right? You don't have the anything, you don't have any manual process, and on the fly you say that okay, I'm going to implement the AI agent or agentic AI into the startup. No, it will not work. You
Yes.
will have the multiple challenges here. So go step by step, gradual process. First, you define your own process, write down, put some effort, make ensure that that process is meeting your requirement, right? And then later on, what you need to do that you need to basically uh, focus on the low hanging fruit, right? Repetitive, okay, too much time consuming, that kind of the process you need to basically eliminate by using the AI agent one by one slowly. But what is very important, your process maturity or existence of these processes in here.
Yes, sir. And the next question is very interesting, sir. This is how does agentic AI improve lead quality versus just increasing lead quantity?
Lead.
The question is how does agentic AI improve lead quality versus just increasing lead quantity?
Okay, so lead quality and quantity is very important, right? Quality, I might be, I always bother about the quality instead of the quantity. Okay, I have the 100 emails, right? I drop a response to that 100 email for one kind of the email kind scenario in here, right? But if I basically able to manage the 15 email with the proper quality of that one, so definitely they will bother about me for my customer. Okay, so always believe in the quality with respect to the quantity in here. And what happened in case of when we basically apply the AI agent in here, it basically having the some feedback loop or automatic smart, it can think or take the decision by this your own. So when we talk about the 100 email, okay, with respect to the quantity, so it will have the 100 quality automatically itself in here.
Yes. And the last question is, how can agentic AI personalize outreach without sounding robotic or spammy?
I think I'm using how much, how can agentic yeah, see, basically, this is the another thing in here. If you think about this scenario in here, right? Think about 5 6 year back. Okay, so you will find the one tool named by the robotic process automations (RPA) tools. Some of the tools very powerful in there. Automation anywhere, UI path. This tool basically kind of the challenge was there. What I saying this it was kind of this sounding robotic and spammy in here, right? But what happened in now we basically we improve, right? We come from the RPA tools, so we come from the generative AI, we come from the AI agent in here, right? So what happened? What is very important, right? What we talk about three important components into AI agent. And the first component is the AI agent model, which is in AI agent model where the Grok, OpenAI, ChatGPT, whatever you write the prompt. Okay, you must your prompt basically depend how smart you basically write the prompt to ensure that it should be look humanized as compared to the robotics. So that is the very important part. You need to write like that one basically what write it. Okay, you are a some author, you are writing a this book, please ensure that this should be not there. Now when we take the traditional in here, one hyphen six signal is something coming on in case of the chat gpt now this thing. So it depends on
Okay.
the prompt. So there are so many prompts available, which basically shows how to write the humanized component so that we can avoid the robotic spamming. But what is the area? That is the Chat GPT model tool where basically we can write the prompt.
Okay. And sir, one question from my side, that is there any strategy which AI model cannot do right now in sales or in a market something?
See, this
Yeah.
AI model is basically based on the human intelligence, right? So every day it is basically improving, correct? So there are so many things which cannot do. It is not like it can do the 100% on there. So as of now, it looks 100% everything they can do it. But slowly we can come to know that some more advanced version, good version will come, which basically cover these challenges.
Okay. So thank you everyone for being a part of today's session on this AI agentic. A special thanks to Mukesh Das sir for sharing your expertise and offering such valuable insight to our startup community. We hope you found the session informative and are leaving with actionable strategies to enhance your tech approach and foster strong customer relationship. So thank you once again, sir, for and we look forward to seeing you in the next upcoming sessions also.
Yeah.
And
So my
thank you so much.
apologies if basically we ahead with the 12 minutes as compared to my schedule time, but yeah, hopefully everyone like it. Thanks and thank you to take
It
the
will
time for
help to
this.
the startups also. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank
Okay.